Hey, beautiful souls, welcome back to Honest Feminine. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found this channel. This is a space where we talk about real relationship dynamics, self-worth, and everything in between with zero sugarcoating. I'm speaking directly to women today because we're often socialized to be patient, understanding, forgiving, even when it's destroying us from the inside. We're taught that love means sacrifice, that relationships require compromise, that we should be the ones holding everything together. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes that conditioning keeps us trapped in situations that are slowly breaking us down. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's talk about the phrases that should make you pause and really evaluate what's happening in your relationship. And listen, if you recognize your relationship in this video, please don't panic. Awareness is the first step. We'll talk about what to do at the end. Let's get into it. Phrase number 1. I did this because of you. I lost my temper because you pushed me. I cheated because you weren't giving me enough attention. I punched the wall because you wouldn't listen. Look what you made me do. This is blame shifting, and it's one of the most insidious forms of manipulation because it makes you feel responsible for someone else's terrible behavior. Here's the truth. Adults are responsible for their own actions. Always. No matter what the other person did. I've seen women spend years walking on eggshells, trying not to provoke their partner. They monitor everything they say, everything they do, trying to avoid setting him off. And you know what? It doesn't work. Because the problem isn't their behavior, it's his inability to manage his own emotions. When someone says, "You made me do this," they're refusing to take responsibility. They're telling you that you have the power to control their actions, which is both a lie and a trap. It's a lie because no one can make an adult do anything. And it's a trap because it keeps you focused on fixing yourself instead of recognizing that they're the problem. What to do? Set a clear boundary. Each of us is responsible for our own behavior. I can't control your reactions, that's your responsibility. If they continue blaming you for their actions, suggest couples therapy. If they refuse therapy, that's a major red flag. It means they don't want to change. They want to keep blaming you. Phrase number 2, nobody else will want you. Or variations like, you're lucky to have me. Look at yourself, who else would take you? Without me, you're nothing. This is systematic destruction of your self-worth. The goal is simple. Make you believe you should be grateful for this relationship. Make you think you have no other options. Make you feel like you don't deserve better. I've heard stories of women who tolerated this for years. Partners who constantly reminded them they'd gained weight, that they were not as interesting as they used to be, that, at their age, beggars can't be choosers. And here's what happened when they finally left. They realized it was all a lie. They found happiness. They found better partners. But most importantly, they found themselves. They rediscovered their worth, which never depended on having a partner in the first place. Anyone who says these things to you is projecting their own fear onto you. Deep down, they're terrified that you will realize you can do better and leave, so they try to convince you that you can't. What to do? Recognize that these words say everything about their insecurity and nothing about your worth. You deserve respect, love, and kindness simply because you exist. If you're struggling to feel that, please consider therapy. Individual therapy can help rebuild the self-esteem that toxic relationships destroy. Phrase number 3, if you loved me, you would. If you loved me, you'd quit hanging out with your friends. If you loved me, you'd do this for me. If you loved me, you wouldn't need a life outside of us. This is using love as a manipulation tool. Real love doesn't require proof through self-sacrifice. Love respects boundaries. Love celebrates your individuality. I've seen women gradually become isolated because their partner got upset every time they spent time with someone else. If I'm important to you, spend time with me, he'd say. Slowly, all the friendships faded. And after a year or two, she was completely isolated, dependent only on him. When the relationship became unbearable, leaving felt impossible. Because there was no one left, that's not love. That's control. Healthy love expands your life. Toxic love shrinks it. What to do? Remember that you have a right to friends, hobbies, personal space, and boundaries. Try saying, I love you, and I also need personal space. These things aren't mutually exclusive. If they can't accept this, you're not dealing with love. You're dealing with control, and control always escalates. Phrase number 4, you chose this. When you complain about difficulties in the relationship, you hear, well, you chose this. I didn't force you to be with me. You knew who I was. This is total absolution of their responsibility and absolute placement of it on you. Yes, we choose who we're with, but relationships are a continuous mutual choice. Both partners are responsible for how they behave. What to do? Acknowledge that, yes, you made a choice to enter this relationship, but you also have the right to make a new choice every single day. You're not obligated to stay in a relationship that's destroying you just because you once chose it. People change, situations change, and your choice can change too. Phrase number 5, I'll change, I promise. After every fight, after every boundary violation, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. Give me one more chance. I'll change, I promise. Here's the thing. Promising to change without taking action is manipulation. Real change takes time, effort, and often professional help. It doesn't happen instantly after another blow-up. I know women who heard this phrase dozens of times over several years. Dozens. After each promise came 2 to 3 weeks of relative calm. Then everything repeated. The cycle just kept going. You know what finally helped one woman leave? She started keeping a journal. When she saw the cycle on paper, when she saw the same promises repeated over and over, denial became impossible. What to do? Pay attention to actions, not words. Real change looks like this. They acknowledge the problem fully, they take complete responsibility, no but clauses. They seek help, therapy, support groups. They make concrete, measurable steps toward change. They give you space and don't demand immediate forgiveness. If you see only words without action, say, I see that you want to change. I need to see real changes over specific time frame. Let's discuss a concrete plan. And be prepared to leave if the plan doesn't materialize. So what do you do if you recognized your relationship? First, don't panic. Awareness is the first step. You've already made it. Second, talk to your partner. Calmly, in a safe setting, express your observations and feelings. Use I statements. I feel devalued when I hear, or I need more mutual respect in our relationship. Third, observe their reaction. A healthy response looks like they listen, acknowledge your feelings, even if they don't agree with everything, are open to dialogue, suggest concrete solutions. Fourth, consider couples therapy. Many relationships can heal if both partners are willing to work. A therapist can help you learn healthy communication, boundary setting, and conflict resolution. Fifth, set boundaries and timelines. If you see toxic patterns, make it clear you won't tolerate them. When you say toxic phrase, I will, consequence, leave the room, end the conversation, etc. And be consistent. Sixth, take care of yourself. Individual therapy, support from friends and family, hobbies, physical health, all of this strengthens you and helps you see the situation more clearly. Seventh, be prepared to leave. If your partner isn't willing to change, if toxic behavior continues, if you feel the relationship is destroying you, you have the right to leave. This isn't selfishness, it's self-preservation. Understanding the difference. I'm not telling you to leave at the first sign of trouble. All couples face difficulties. Conflicts are normal. Disagreements are normal. But there's a difference between healthy conflict and toxic patterns. Healthy conflict. Both partners express feelings and needs, listen to each other, take responsibility for their part, seek compromise, respect boundaries, even during arguments, apologize sincerely, change behavior. Toxic pattern, systematic devaluation, gaslighting, manipulation, refusal of responsibility, empty promises without change, boundary violations, using love as a control tool. If you decide to leave a toxic relationship, know this. It might be one of the hardest decisions of your life, especially if there are children, a shared mortgage, years spent together. You might feel guilty. You might doubt yourself. You might be scared. All of this is normal. But I've watched hundreds of women leave toxic relationships, and you know what they all say? I only regret not doing it sooner. If your partner is physically aggressive, if you fear for your life or your children's lives, please get help immediately. Women's Crisis centers domestic violence, hotlines, police friends and family you trust. Develop a safety plan. Gather documents, money, essentials somewhere your partner won't find them. Plan where you'll go in advance. Don't stay in a dangerous situation because of fear or shame. Relationships should add joy, support, and love to your life. Yes, there are difficult periods. Yes, you need to work on relationships. But that work should be mutual. If you feel that your relationship drains you, destroys your self-esteem, makes you doubt your adequacy, isolates you from loved ones, that's not love. That's not something you should endure. All right, beautiful souls, that's it for today. I know this was heavy. If you're going through this right now, I'm sending you so much strength. You're not alone. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up. It helps other women find this message when they need it. Subscribe to Honest Feminine if you want more real talk about relationships, self-worth, and everything that matters. Hit that bell so you don't miss future videos. And most importantly, share this with someone who might need to hear it. You never know who's silently struggling. Drop a comment below. Have you heard these phrases? How did you handle it? Let's support each other in the comments.